Hello and welcome to Bolt Action 1944, guys. It's been a little while since I've done any video. I had some problems with my teeth that extraction gone bad, but it kind of drug on for a while, and a little bit of health issues here and there. But now I am back, ready to do some videos. Got some new equipment to help me record battle reports. So today I wanted to just go over a tournament that I went to this past weekend in Columbus, Georgia. It was called Moxie Spring Awakening 2025. It's the Moxie's game group over there. They have a store there and they hold tournaments regularly. Pretty good tournament. We had some guys drop. They had up to 16 at one time. Had a couple guys drop for health reasons. One thing or another, issues, but that's kind of typical for tournaments. Yeah. So they asked me to bring a table of terrain, my jungle board, which is a pretty cool looking board. I've actually added a tower. In fact, let me grab that real quick because I want to show that to you. So I built this the night before the tournament for my jungle. It's a guard tower. It kind of needed some extra stuff to it. Eventually, I'm gonna put an airfield on it. So I worked up till like midnight getting this baby done. It's all scratch built. Most of it came from the Dollar Tree. I mean, like I think everything came from the Dollar Tree except for the spray paint. So real nice, cheap. Okay. But anyway, I loaded table of terrain. I loaded my dice box. I loaded my rule books and everything I needed, snacks, tea, into the truck, and I'm driving over there. It's about 3 hours away, and I get maybe 30 minutes away, and we're going through some sharp curves, and it's kind of mountainous there. And I got to thinking, I was like, oh, because my miniatures, I always put them on my display board ready to go, throw them in the truck, and I'm like, wow, I bet you they've been jumbled all over the place. And I got an eerie feeling when I thought about it, and I'm like, So I look back in the back of the truck, no army. I'm like, oh my God. I left my army at home. I brought everything else I could possibly bring, even a table of terrain, and I left my army. My Gurkhas were at home. So let's see. Let me show you the army that I was supposed to be playing. And here they are. So this was what armor. I've got a Comet, which is a 10 armor, frontal armor, super heavy anti-tank gun. I got a Crusader with a heavy autocannon, Armadillo, little company commander, couple armored transports. Did not have the Wasp. That just stuck that in here just recently. But 3 squads of Gurkhas, anti-tank rifle, 2 light mortars, and then I brought a 25-pounder with a tow and an officer, and then I've got my artillery observer with 3 dudes. So that's what I was supposed to be playing. So I get over there, and John Ross is getting out of his truck when I get there, and I was like, hey, John, you got any extra army guys? I left my army at home. And he actually brought a German army list with him. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll take a look at it. And so before the tournament, go through it. Didn't like the infantry choices. They were kind of weak. So I made a few changes. The tournament organizer, Patrick Tadlock, had a German loner army as well for guys that didn't have an army to play. So I was like, can I borrow the hair grenadier infantry? So he's like, yeah, sure. So I threw everything together. Basically, this army consisted of 2 squads of hair grenadiers with a light machine gun, regular, inexperienced officer, company commander, 2 light mortars, anti-tank rifle. The armor platoon was 2 Daka Panzer threes, drilling, which I was kind of impressed with that. I liked the drilling; it was a really good unit. And then a 222. I wasn't really pleased with the 222, except I think it may have won me my second game because I was able to wreck it off the board because it was wheeled, and I was able to just shoot out across the board in a scenario where getting off the board was 3 points. So, and then the engineer platoon, which was the meat and potatoes of this list, was 2 veteran pioneer squads, and then there was a one-shot flamethrower team. So 2 dudes, each with a one-shot flamethrower. They were veteran. There was a field car and a Hanamag. And so that kind of rounded out the list. So I came in second place. Wow. Had no expectations of doing anything because I've never played flamethrowers before. Really, I mean, I have a Wasp in my British list I've used once in a while, but never a dedicated barbecue list, which was what this was. But yeah, so that was cool. Anyway, so the first game, we're playing Seek and Destroy. All right, and the toughest thing I have on my board is a light anti-tank gun on the Panzer threes, no Panzerfausts, and flamethrowers. And my first opponent has a Panzer Ace Elephant, veteran, of course, it has to be, and a veteran King Tiger, 2 veteran grenadier squads with assault rifles, and an officer. So he had 5 order dice, and all tough as nails, right? And I've got nothing that can really hurt these tanks, and I've got to try to win this game. So right away I was like, well, maybe the best thing I can do is get a draw. So I played for a draw and tried to at least kill. So I outflanked the engineers in the Hanamag. Everything else I just kind of hid. Other than my 2 Panzer threes, I was able to get into the flank of his King Tiger early on in the game, and I just kept snapping those 2 because with this many dice advantage, I had 17 dice, he had 5. So I was able to shoot both of them at the beginning of every turn and pin it. I actually got a couple of damage rolls. One I got a 0 damage, I think, and the other one was like a crew stunned. So that was all I could do to it. But I kind of kept it at bay for most of the game. It was on my left flank, and what it did allow me to do is because the King Tiger was basically being pinned down, it allowed my outflankers to come in and get behind and go after one of his infantry units. Eventually, he was able to rally the King Tiger, and he turned and went after my engineers. But I managed to kill one of his squads of infantry before that happened. And then I think his, I don't know if it was the Elephant, put a 3-inch template on one of my squads of regulars, and I managed to delete them. So we ended up with a kill apiece. So it was a draw, which was, that was about the most I could possibly get out of it. So, that was good. I was feeling pretty good about that. Then the second game, matched up against John Ross, the guy who loaned me an army. So, yeah, and we were playing the envelopment where you get 3 points for going off the board, and then 1 point for being in the deployment zone. And then if there's a tie, the scenario is written was kill points would break the tie. So I ended up winning that game. Really at the end of the game, it was, kind of close at first. I actually lost the tank early on. John kind of pushed hard with everything to my right. And one thing I did do is it was deployed. We were deployed in our zone. It was prepared positions. All right. So you're on the board before the game starts. But I put all my flamethrowers and engineers in transports in reserve with an officer in each transport. And so there was like, well, why are you doing that? But so you can, with the new rules, you can come in 12 inches on each flank, up to 12 inches. So you're actually still kind of outflanking in a way. It's no longer just table edge, but it allows me to choose which side I come in on depending on where my opponent was. And yeah, you get a little farther with outflank, but I prefer this because it allows me to react as well. I don't have to come in on the flanks. If I need to bring something in the middle, I can still do that. So as John was pushing most of his stuff to my right, I brought in the one-shot flamethrower and the field car on there to blunt that advance. And then the engineers and the Hanamag was on the left, and I just pushed them hard down the table edge. And then I had my tanks in the middle to try to keep everything there. So basically the way it ended up is John got 2 units off and I got 4. And basically with me putting all that stuff coming in on the outflank and the flamethrowers, of course, I had some terrible luck with the one-shotters, but it still kind of slowed him down there to where he couldn't get everything off that he had coming that way. And then I was able to basically go down the left flank, my left, unobstructed. He tried to turn one of his tanks that way at the last minute, but it was too late. I had already gotten, I think I got 4 units off, and I got 2 more units into his deployment zone at the last turn, giving me a win there. It was still a tough fought game. Came down to the last turn, and it could have went either way. So then I win in a draw, and then I play a Polish army on the 3rd round, and he's got cavalry, lancers, and then some light tanks and some artillery. He had some autocannons, and this one was key positions. So we had 5 objectives, and he got to place the first objective. So he loaded one side, and he also got to pick the side. He got the roll off on sides, which that seems to happen to me all the time. I don't know why, but that's the way it happens. Anyway, so I look at the board, and so one thing about key positions, when you're trying, you just have to get the the most out of it. So if you got 7, you want to get 4. If you got 5, you want to get 3. And so you have to look at the board, and don't think of it as I have to get all these objectives. You just have to look and decide which ones you want to take, right? And sometimes you just leave an objective. You might feign at it like you want to go after to draw him into it, but you really have no intention of trying to get that objective whatsoever. So I picked out the 3 objectives, 4 objectives on the board. I think we had 5, so 3. Yeah, 3 that I knew I could get and get my armor on it. So the outflank was key in the well, it was an outflank. I once again prepared positions, and I did I put the engineers in half track in reserve, as well as the flamethrower in the field car. And he had an objective deep on his right, my left, which I knew would be ideal for me to go after. It was kind of out by itself. Ideal for me to go after with my engineers. I felt pretty sure that I could eventually clear everything and take that objective. So that was the plan. And then the right had a clump, which I pushed hard to the right with one of my Panzer IIIs and the drilling and an infantry squad and the company commander to keep everything going there. And then there was a main road running straight through the board with an objective dead center of the table. So what I did is I ran the 222 right up on it so he couldn't get it. And then whenever he shot at it, I would just recce away. So I was able to kind of tie that objective up till the end of the game. He managed to, one thing that it was sitting on the objective and it got immobilized. So that kind of stopped my recce plans, but it also survived a lot of shooting. Surprisingly as it is, it stayed there for a while. My light mortars were key in taking out his light autocannons. He had two light autocannons, and I used my light mortars and just zoomed in on them. And the drilling, I think I attacked one of them with the drilling and pretty much wiped them out. I think he may have had one dude left on the second autocannon, and it stayed pinned down and it kept failing order tests, but the other one lost its crew pretty early on, which allowed me to get one objective on the right that I wanted. He had another one behind it. I knew I couldn't get to that one, so I acted like I was going to go after it, but I never really did. I just stayed back and defended the one I got. And then there was another objective off center of the board that I pushed with the Panzer III and a squad of grenadiers. I was able to get there before he could, because, well, the Panzer III was pinning down his infantry. He couldn't get there, so I got my infantry on it first, and then I just defended it with the tank, and I was able to keep that one. So in the end, I think I had, at one point, to the very last part of the game, I had 4 objectives to 1. And then he managed to flip the one in the center by killing the armored car and getting some infantry on top of it. So, but it was a win, a good win. It was a pretty good game. Great opponent. And so I ended up with 2 wins and a draw, which considering I didn't have an army when I got there, that was pretty amazing. Had a fun day. Great group of guys there. Really enjoyed playing. Probably the most fun I've had in tournament in a while. I was playing kind of loose. No real expectations. Just going out there having fun. And yeah, so won some cool prizes. Got so Moxie made these trophies. They had a first place gold one and a third place bronze one. They had these made 3D printed, and they're just awesome. I mean, they're just really cool looking. I love it. This is something else. So the only downside of the whole weekend was I had some stuff in my Gurkha list that I really wanted to try out and see how it was going to do for a couple of upcoming tournaments, and I didn't get to play them. So, I don't have a lot of guys nearby that I can play games with. I usually have to drive a couple hours just to get in a game with somebody. So testing, yeah, half time I have to do some solo games just to try stuff out. But yeah, so that's it. I appreciate you watching. Please like, share, subscribe, leave some comments, laugh about it, because I've been picked at like unending because I left my army at home. But that's cool. I mean, I expect it, and it's part of the part of the fun. I mean, I have to laugh about it. But yeah, and I will come up with some new stuff here pretty soon. I'll be doing a battle report, and yeah. So if you got anything you want me to cover, just let me know. I do want to do a light mortar tutorial because I see a lot of guys saying they're terrible, they're no good. But there's just a certain strategy. If you use it, I don't think I lost a light mortar all weekend. I lost one of my guys out of it several times, out of one of them or two of them, but didn't lose a light mortar the whole weekend. So, I mean, it's just the way I play them, and they're quite effective. John can attest to that too. I mean, my light mortars really played hell against him. I know in my British lists, I've run 4 at one time. But I've kind of cut it back to 2 because there's too many weak units out there, and if they start going after them, it's hard to keep them alive. So 2's good. They're annoying enough that they do what they're intended. So, well, anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.